But it doesn't mean they're not going to turn on the 5G, the 6G, or whatever else that they have. And then don't forget about this right here, because this was in the news and then they just brought it up in the news again. Fortunately, Jason A never covers anything of relevance. He covers things that are usually a month or so old, but this one hit the mark.
Like Brad in space, but today Brad's bringing us bugs in space, the bacterial bugs.
Chris, I want to revisit a story we first brought you back on May 8th of last year because it's related to another story.
Okay.
So let's begin. Just a quick flashback here. Bacteria on the International Space Station has mutated into something never seen on Earth. They collected it in 2018. At that point in time, there were 5 strains of a multi-drug resistant bacteria, which doesn't sound good, aboard the International Space Station. Recently, researchers said that there are now at least 13 strains aboard. So you can see where this is going, okay? Some of the mutations of the original strains have never been seen here on Earth. However, they don't feel as though they are dangerous at this point in time, and they think it's the combination of microgravity and increased radiation exposure that contributed to these mutations. Okay?
Sounds like a science fiction movie.
It does. Now, last night, I see this story. Unknown species of bacteria discovered in China's space station. So, get a load of this. So this was taken from swabs in the cabin on board in May of 2023. The microbiome, which is the collection of the bacteria, differs in both composition and function from the one found on the International Space Station. So now you've got 2 very different bacteria, both brought into space by humans.
Very different places.
Have mutated into something never before seen, okay? The new species has a unique ability to break down gelatin as a source of its food. Now, What was your first thought when I told you that?
Gross.
Why is gelatin on their space station? Okay, I can see if they have jello, but
That was my second thought, honestly.
Chris, I learned something. Most food for astronauts either contains gelatin or is sort of spray coated with gelatin, so crumbs don't crumble off because you'd have all these crumbs floating around. But
that makes perfect sense.
this bacteria is now using gelatin as its food. Now, there's something else here, though. It's unknown if the new bacteria poses a threat to the health of China's astronauts, but its nearest cousin on Earth can cause sepsis. Now, you have to remember, Chris, if these things came from Earth or up in space, they mutated. If they went up unknowingly, they're coming back down now.
Yes. Come down?
So that's something to think about there. And I have time just to sneak one more in.
Please do.
Take a look at this. China launches first of 2,800 satellites for AI space computing constellation. The 12 satellites were launched last Wednesday. Here's what we know about it. It's unknown if the new bacteria poses a threat to the health of China's astronauts, but its nearest cousin on Earth can cause sepsis. Now, you have to remember, Chris, if these things came from Earth or up in space, they mutated. If they went up unknowingly, they're coming back down now.
Yes. Come down?
So that's something to think about there. And I have time just to sneak one more in.
Please do.
Take a look at this. China launches first of 2,800 satellites for AI space computing constellation. The